sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are Sports Out.
It's a beautiful day for baseball here in Boston, Mass. And, of course, historic Fenway Park. Today, Game 2 of our brief series with the Boston Red Sox. Atlanta came out on top last night, handing the Red Sox their 7th consecutive defeat. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe, welcome back to the ballpark. Williams Perez was terrific last night. He picked up his 3rd consecutive win in rotation for the Braves. Now it's Julio Teheran's turn to make it 2 straight for the Braves over Boston today.
He's put 2 good starts back-to-back, but when he's come out of the game, the bullpen's given up some runs of his that have cost him wins. So he's gotten 2 no decisions in those games. His home-road splits, not very good. He's never pitched in this ballpark before. Tonight or this afternoon, hopefully he can put a win on the board against a guy, Wade Miley, who had himself a little hissy fit in Baltimore with his manager the other day, so we'll see if that affects him.
Yeah, things aren't going well for the Red Sox. Hopefully that'll continue in Game 2 here at historic Fenway Park. Braves try to keep things rolling on the road. First pitch, starting lineups, and a whole lot more fun from Fenway coming up after the break.
Presented by your Atlanta area Mazda dealers. Driving matters.
What a difference a day makes here in Boston, Mass. It's about 10 degrees warmer today than it was yesterday. Gray skies overhead. Very little breeze. There is a chance of rain later in the afternoon, but right now it's a relatively nice day for a ball game here at historic Fenway Park. And the Braves will try to make it 2 straight over the Red Sox on their home turf. The Braves starting lineup presented as always by Academy Sports. Peterson, MAYBIN, and Freeman the top 3. Johnny Gomes hits cleanup with a left-hander on the mound. That means Nick Markakis drops to the 5 spot. Chris Johnson kills lefties. That's why he's the DH today. Uribe at third base. Pedro Siriaco is in for Andrelton Simmons. And former Red Sox and current Brave Ryan Lavarnway will make his Braves debut today.
Against Wade Miley, left-hander, 28 years old, 6'2", 195, out of Loranger, I'm not sure how to say that, Louisiana. 4th year, supplemental #1 pick out of Southeast Louisiana State by Arizona. Traded over here last winter for Robbie De La Rosa and a couple of other players. Lefty-righty splits. You've seen no home runs and not much damage by the left-handers, but right-handers are tearing him up. He gave up 3 homers in his last start at Baltimore, where he only went 4 innings, gave up 9 hits and 5 runs. Lifetime 1-2 with a near 6 ERA against Atlanta.
I like that number the best of all. Let's see if Atlanta can improve on that with Jace Peterson leading off, and we're underway. A strike. .63 degrees officially at first pitch. And Jace Peterson quickly behind 0-2.
And one thing we know for sure, Wade Miley works fast. So if you're in the box, be ready. Low 90s, slider, changeup.
The Braves this year 4-4 against a left-handed starting pitcher. Peterson, Freeman, and Markakis, the left-handed bats in today's lineup. Downstairs, count evens now at 2-2. And from 0-2 to a full count. And Peterson didn't get it. He's down on strikes. Asks if it was a strike. The answer might have been no. Vic Carapazza has the plate. There's the first out of the ball game. And here's Cameron Maybin, the Braves center fielder, at 294. He's hit 5 homers and he's knocked in 32. This guy should be getting a lot of consideration for the All-Star team. What a find Cameron Maybin has been for the Braves since coming over for opening day from San Diego. 27 runs batted in since May 1st. Fly ball popped up shallow right center, and the play made by Rusney Castillo, and Maybin's retired. 2 up, 2 down. And you are right, Wade Miley works at a feverish pace.
Blur.
And this is Freddie Freeman. Freddie extended his batting streak to 5 consecutive games. He had a hit, a steal, and a run scored. And he shoots this one high in the air toward left. Back on the warning track and with room. Play made by Alejandro De Aza, and Miley has a spotless and perfect top of the first. For the faithful here in Boston, the Red Sox at 27-38, last place in the American League East, and he has changed his lineup today. Dustin Pedroia gets a day off at the top of the order. No Hanley Ramirez either. That means Brock Holt, Mookie Betts, and David Ortiz, the first three for the Red Sox, who have been outscored, Joe, by an amazing 62 runs so far this year.
Julio Teheran will get the start against them. He's 24 years old, 6'2", 200. He's 4-2 on the year. 4.78 ERA. His numbers in day games the last 2 years, not good. Hopefully today, better things to come. 3-7 with a 4.15 ERA. His 4 keys to pitching success. Number one, left-handed hitters are hitting him at a very high clip, a 333 average, and there's 5 left-handed hitters in the lineup today, so he's going to have to work on them. And his last 2 starts when he's come out, runs have been given up by the bullpen that have cost him wins, so finish strong today. Complete what you start.
And his first pitch of the day is a strike to Brock Holt. Holt's been on base in 9 of the last 10 games for the Red Sox. He plays everywhere for them defensively. Today, he's their second baseman. And strike 2. Let's talk about Ryan Lavarnway, excuse me. First time he's caught Julio Teheran, and he's got to do it here at Fenway Park.
Well, he certainly knows the ballpark.
High in the air toward left. Gomes drifts back, takes a peek at the monster. It's over his head, off the scoreboard, and it ricochets back toward the infield, and Brock Holt has a leadoff double.
Went for the high fastball to try to get him out, get him to chase, and he's still connected. Leveled off. And that wall, only 315 feet away, turned it into a double. Pedroia, by the way, got taken out on a double play against the Blue Jays during their recent series here and injured a knee. He's got a little fluid on his knee that they needed to drain, so that's why he's out of there today, despite the fact that he's red hot with the bat.
And you know that's killing him.
Yeah.
So let's see how the Red Sox play it. Here's Mookie Betts, and he showed bunt and took a strike. I don't often see American League teams give up runs, especially the Red Sox. With Holt at second, Betts behind in the count. And a line drive into the gap in left center field. That'll score Holt easily. MAYBIN cuts it off on the warning track, and back-to-back doubles for Boston. It's 1-0 Sox. Fourth hit of the series for Mookie Betts.
Yeah, he had a big night last night. Looked like a flat slider. And a gapper, as it turned out, is 28 RBI.
So just what Boston wanted, an early lead against Julio Teheran. Now David Ortiz bats. His production in situations like this might be a big reason why the Red Sox are struggling so mightily. Shift is on for Ortiz as Teheran turns it loose and missed inside. David Ortiz is an astounding 7 for 50 with runners in scoring position. A 140 batting average. That is not like David Ortiz.
Nope.
Ortiz tied with Stan Musial and Willie Stargell on baseball's all-time home run list. He's hit 475 of them. Two balls, no strikes. The good news for Boston, though, is Big Papi is starting to heat up. He's got a hit in his last 6 games. And Teheran has missed again. 3-0. Xander Bogaerts is the Boston cleanup man today. He waits next. Let's see if Ortiz has a 3-0 green light. And with that base on balls, David Ortiz has just tied Wade Boggs for fourth place on the all-time walks list for the Red Sox. That's number 1004. And Teheran has not retired a hitter yet. 2 doubles and a walk brings up Bogaerts.
He had a good night last night with a home run. Last night, Williams Perez pitched so well, and one of the things that helped him were ground balls, double plays in the first, second, and third innings.
That's a strike to the Boston shortstop. His homer yesterday, the first he's hit in 87 at bats for the Red Sox. He's got 3 of them now, and 2 Boston runners aboard. 1-0 Red Sox, and nobody out. In the air, foul to the right side. It's 0-2. Little looper into shallow center. That's going to get down for a hit. And the Red Sox will have the bases loaded.
And another 0-2 hit. Something away that didn't break as much as he'd like for it to.
So now you've got big trouble with Pablo Sandoval up, and the bases are now loaded. Sandoval, a milestone last night, 2 hits. He's sitting on 1,000 major league hits in his career. Double play ball. Siriaco to Peterson for 1, and the play at first barely in time for a double play. That'll score Betts. Ortiz to third on the twin killing. The Red Sox might take a look at this. For the moment, it's 2-0 with 2 out.
Siriaco was a little slow getting that ball to Jace, put him in harm's way. It looked like they got the throw there in time. Red Sox are waiting confirmation of that. Arnie Weiler is their first base coach, and he was not really campaigning for it, but it looks like they're going to ask for an appeal.
So the umpires will head down to the end of the Braves dugout on the third base line and take a peek at that close play at first base. What's riding here for Sandoval is obviously 1 less out, but for him 1 more RBI.
They need all the runs they can get, so if they can turn this into a big inning by having this overturned, I don't think they will overturn that. I'd be surprised.
The original call was out. There has to be enough evidence to overturn the call. Clear and convincing evidence is the definition. So Teheran will throw a few warm-up tosses while we await the verdict from New York.
Sandoval does not get down the line real well. He's a big guy. One of the things he did not like in San Francisco is the fact that they weighed him every day when he came to the ballpark. When he came to Boston, they said, no, we're not going to weigh you every day. And he is out. We're not going to weigh you every day. That's okay with us. Well, since the end of spring training, the Kung Fu Panda's put on 33 pounds. Might be time to start weighing people. Or not.
Well, are they weighing him with his wallet? 5 years, $95 million. That's a lot of weight in that back right pocket. So the call was confirmed at first base. Betts scores the second run for Boston. Now Mike Napoli hits with a runner at third and 2 outs. 2 doubles, a single, and a walk for the Red Sox in the opening inning. And here's another struggling Boston hitter, Mike Napoli, who's 0 for his last 17. David Ortiz at third base.
Another left-handed hitter on deck. And Napoli, 0 for his last 17. You got to go after him.
He had a green light. Three balls, 2 strikes. Back to the screen, out of play. We'll do it again. Braves begin play today, 3.5 games behind the Mets, who pulled out a last at bat win yesterday. They snapped Toronto's 11-game winning streak. Mets host them tonight. Swing and a miss, and Napoli and the Red Sox are done in the first, but they strike with 2 runs. A rally started with 2 doubles in a row. Brunette lady in the glasses right in the middle of your screen.
I do.
Well, she is sitting in one of the really cool features of Fenway Park. You see over her left shoulder, there's a red seat. And that seat signifies the longest home run that Ted Williams ever hit in this ballpark. And that is how far away from home plate that blast ended up. 502 feet away. And when you talk about living the dream for Red Sox fans here in Boston, before the game, after the game, it is almost like a pilgrimage for fans to go sit in that chair and take a picture of this beautiful ballpark in Boston.
Pretty good poke, wasn't it?
Oh. Rumor has it that the ball bounced out there and actually landed in a pork pie hat of a fan who was sitting in that seat here in Boston oh so many years ago. As Johnny Gomes leads off the second for the Braves. Gomes, Markakis, and Chris Johnson. Johnny checked his swing. He got a nice reception and was very grateful for it last night.
Got a good one today when his name was announced in the starting lineup.
Strike three at the knees. Gomes not sure about that. Second strikeout for Wade Miley. He set down the first four in order. One away.
Despite that outing in Baltimore and one in which he got in an argument with his manager in the dugout, Miley's been pitching pretty good baseball. He won the game before that, went 7 1/3 innings, lost the one before that, and then had put together 3 straight wins. So he's won 4 of his last 6.
Much of that work coming on his home mound here at Fenway. And let's face it, we've talked to the Red Sox people this entire series. One of the big question marks for their club is how do they replace John Lester and John Lackey? Wade Miley and Rick Porcello were thought to be the two answers to that question. Right now, both of those men are below 500. That's lined into the Braves dugout. Look out.
And there is no place to go over there. Hard to get away from anything coming on a line in there. Already had one guy smoked today. During batting practice, Alex Wood wasn't paying attention. During batting practice, somebody a line drive to left hit him right in the head. He's okay.
Alex is scheduled to start at home tomorrow night. There is netting, but the dugouts, the seats at Fenway Park, right on top of the action. And a line drive by Markakis to left field. Boy, he's had a good series. That's Nick's 3rd hit here in Boston.
Nick's 5 for his last 8. Takes this left-hander to the other opposite field. He's hitting .273 against lefties so far on the season.
And that brings up Chris Johnson. Chris wears out lefties. And he's the DH today. Remember last year the Braves designated hitters really struggled. In fact, the DH for the Braves since 2012 are hitting .189. This year, the DHs are 5 for 13. The Braves get to add a bat to their lineup, and it's Chris Johnson today.
10 for 22 against lefties this season.
And that good work is our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
.393 since the beginning of the 13 season. This guy really throws across his body. I mean, not just a little bit offline, but a good 1.5 feet offline from where his mark is on the mound.
You can see the toe hold really angling toward the first base bag from Wade Miley. So just draw an imaginary line between that and then directly to the plate. You're right, that's at least a foot.
And he works on the third base side of the rubber and then steps, as you can see, that mark not toward home plate but toward the first base line.
URIBE takes a strike. Swihart set up almost in the middle of the right-hand batter's box to catch that pitch. Man, were they trying to pound the ball in on URIBE's hands there. But Miley missed badly. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2-2 for the Braves third baseman Juan Uribe. He had a good cut.
Uribe saw him a lot in the National League West. 19 total at bats, 3 hits. Should have a good feel for how he likes to pitch him. When he's on and throwing across his body like that, you can understand how he would have some good sink on his fastball especially, but he's getting ground balls when he's on.
Swing and a miss. Miley struck out the side. He has 4 strikeouts in his first 2 innings and a 2-0 lead. Joe mentioned Alex got plunked right on top of the head.
Boy, he's so lucky in this regard that if he's going to get hit, he got hit on top of the head and not in the face. I'm not sure who it was he was talking to, but they were not paying attention to the ball coming off the bat. Remarkable that one of our camera operators had that too. Good pickup.
Jim Lovell came out to attend to Alex, took him back in the clubhouse, and apparently Alex is fine, and he will pitch at home tomorrow. So here we go, home second. Let's see if Tehran has an easier time of it. Julio was not sharp in the first. 3 hits, a walk, and 2 Boston runs. Alejandro De Aza leads things off. And quickly, 0-2. No swing. Now a ball and 2 strikes.
De Aza right up on top of the plate.
And pop toward left. Gomes long run still coming. He'll get there. And De Aza is retired for the first out. This is Blake Swihart. He's the #1 Boston prospect. A terrific catch and throw catcher and a former first-round pick. bat has yet to catch up with the arm. This kid threw out 44% of base stealers the last 2 years. And he takes a strike. Swihart is a switch hitting catcher. Those are real valuable. Pitch outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sharply hit up the middle and through. A 1-out single for Swihart.
Swihart might be here a little ahead of schedule because of an injury to another highly touted catching prospect, Christian Vasquez, who had to have Tommy John surgery. Vasquez last year was in 55 games for the Red Sox, and they kind of had him penciled in as one of the catchers. When he got hurt, had to have surgery, Swihart moved up the list and got here quicker than they expected. Or I should say quicker than they really wanted to promote him.
Now Rusney Castillo, the Boston right fielder. Bouncing ball to first. Freeman will fire to second for 1. Siriaco's return in plenty of time. And just like last night, the Red Sox have hit into double plays in the first 2 innings. Difference is they lead 2-0. And Commissioner Rob Manfred will join us when we come back to Boston after this. And the Braves this coming weekend. The New York Mets are in town and providing the opposition. Dads, you're invited to stay after the game and run the bases with your kids. Go to Braves.com/tickets and plan a day your dad won't forget.
So I could bring Gabe and he and I could race around the bags?
Yeah.
That would be fun.
That'd be great.
Pulled hammies flying everywhere.
Yeah, you've already got an Achilles problem. You might have to walk around the bases.
I'm coming around.
Take it easy on yourself.
Coming around.
All right, Pedro Siriaco will lead off the Atlanta third. Commissioner Manfred still in the Red Sox radio booth. So he'll join us in the next half inning, we're told.
What's that all about? Sounds like to me they're kind of hogging him.
Pretty much. Ground ball right side. Brock Holt has it. The peg to first in time, and Siriaco is the first out. Here's Lavarnway.
Either that or he's already heard about the grilling.
Yeah, I think they tape every game at Major League headquarters. They probably knew you might be going into a hornet's nest. Mr. Simpson. Ryan had a couple of homers with Gwinnett. 12 games, a .268 average. Spent some time with the Orioles as well and struggled at the plate. He's up. Christian Bethancourt went down to AAA, as you know. And Christian had a big day yesterday. He went 3 for 6 for the Gwinnett Braves.
When he was demoted, I didn't hear one person suggest that he needed to go down and work on his hitting.
Right.
All I heard was work on his catching, work on framing pitches, and work on anything associated with his defense.
2 balls and a strike. And bouncing ball towards short. Barnway doesn't run well. And he's an easy out. 2-man down. Well, he had a good time the first 5 innings yesterday, did Bethencourt. Alex White made his first AAA start and pitched 5 scoreless innings for the Gwinnett Braves. At AA, Tyrell Jenkins was the losing pitcher, gave up 1 earned run in 7 innings. His last 8 games, Tyrell Jenkins a 1.76 ERA at AA.
Pitching great, made the All-Star team, mid-season All-Star team.
At Carolina, Dustin Peterson's hitting .311. At Rome, Braxton Davidson has an 11-game hitting streak. And good luck to Danville and the Gulf Coast League Braves. They start play on the 19th and 20th this week. So that's your minor league update today as Jace Peterson bats for a second time. He struck out to start the game. Braves have 1 hit. Let's see if the second time through brings him better luck.
He's had a good change up to the right-handers and a pretty good breaking ball to the left-handed hitter.
He didn't like that pitch and runs the count full.
He went full on Jace leading off the game.
And he just struck him out. Wade Miley has 5 strikeouts through 3 innings. He leads 2-0. We think the commissioner's on his way over. You'll find out after the break. New Major League Baseball. You'll notice there's a new signature on the ball. The 10th Commissioner of Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, joins us here at Fenway Park. Mr. Commissioner, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I remember our Fox Baseball seminar. You said that was maybe the best perk of the job so far, right?
It is a nice perk of the job. It's really a treat to see your name on the baseball whenever it happens.
Obviously, there's a lot going on in the game, and we know you have a lot of other interviews to get to. So, if you don't mind, we'll do kind of a 60 minutes roundtable Mike Wallace grilling. We'll try to go easy on you. Let's talk
about. It's a hot seat. Trust us.
It's a hot seat. Big issue here, Fenway Park, fan safety, the netting. Let's start with that issue. Obviously, there are fans who are very concerned about that as Julio Teheran handles it first for the first out. What is baseball doing? What's the update on that particular situation first, since we're here?
First of all, fan safety is a crucial issue for us. It's something we're always focused on. Fortunately, Tanya Carpenter is making a good recovery, and we're very, very grateful for that. In terms of moving forward, we are looking at the variety of remedies or responses that we have available to us, additional bat regulations, dealing with the issue of maple bats, particularly low-density maple bats, bat wraps. There's a new technology that can be put around the bat to prevent the splintering that you saw in that particular incident. And then, of course, the possibility of netting, which is a more substantial move. We think it's important to look at everything we have available to us and decide what mix of remedies we should move forward with in order to ensure that we have the level of safety we want.
Everything I've heard you say so far since you took over has been encouraging in that you say we're looking at all ideas, we're listening to all thoughts, and anything that might improve or better the ball game. I applaud you for that.
Well, we hope that over time we create the impression with our fans that we are receptive to hearing what they want, that we'll analyze input that we get and try to make a thoughtful response to the suggestions that we receive.
With that in mind,
here it comes.
With that in mind, now my soapbox issue is the All-Star game. Timing being what it is. And with the stories coming out about the voting right now and what the Kansas City fans have done for their players, I'm okay with that. Their fans have really stepped up for their players. What troubles me has been that after that tie game in Milwaukee, all of a sudden the All-Star game had a lot of weight put on it in terms of home field advantage for the World Series. If that's the case, and if the players are playing for that, shouldn't they be entitled to pick the starting lineup and then let maybe perhaps the fans pick the extra men? Something of that nature.
I understand that suggestion, and obviously we have a huge amount of player participation in terms of picking the overall rosters. Obviously the next 9 are picked by the players. They have input with respect to all of the pitchers, and we think that's a great check and balance on the fans. I mean, the fact of the matter is that most of the guys that are elected to the team are going to play. So the difference between the starters is who plays what innings and, in what order. And I think we have great managers managing, and they manage the game in a way that makes the team as competitive as possible.
Here's David Ortiz, and he bounces one to first. Freddie Freeman's got it. Can you stick around for another half inning?
I can. One that fast.
That's great. We love it.
All
Commissioner
right.
Rob Manfred joins Joe Simpson and yours truly. 2-0 Red Sox. Runs, and that's where we stand. We're joined by the 10th Commissioner of Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred. Chip Caray and Joe Simpson with you from Fenway Park. Mr. Commissioner, we heard your comments earlier about next spring, perhaps exhibition games in Cuba. The Braves have 3 members of their coaching staff who were born in Cuba. Obviously, there's a huge political debate about America's relationship with Cuba. There's also a huge family debate. That whole scenario has separated families for generations. How does baseball cross that divide? And is that a consideration as to whether or not we go forward and play in Cuba right now?
Well, I think that we would like to be part of the regularization of the relationship with Cuba. President Obama has put that out there as the policy of the United States, and we obviously want to be cooperative in that effort. But we are also sensitive because we have Cuban Americans, players, coaches, huge Cuban American community, obviously in Florida, and we want to be sensitive to the concerns of those individuals as well. So I think you will see us proceed in a measured and I hope politically correct way.
And from a baseball standpoint, obviously the doors are open now. There are more and more Cuban players coming back into major leagues, which certainly benefits our product.
That's true. We want to have the best players in the world playing in the major leagues. We think that's important in terms of making our product compelling. I must say, however, I think that some reform with respect to immigration matters that would allow Cubans to come and go more freely as opposed to the way they come and go now would be an improvement for baseball.
I've heard you address or entertain the thought of a shortened season to whatever number less than 162.
Right.
Is that more of a calendar-driven issue just because of postseason and the expanded postseason now, or is it something else?
Well, first of all, a move to 154 would be a huge move for this industry. I mean, as you guys know better than I, our broadcasts, our gates, tremendously valuable, and giving up 8 of them, it would be a major economic change for the industry. So I don't want people to get too excited about that possibility. Having said that, 162 games in 183 days is a tough schedule with the kind of travel that's now involved in the game, more east-west, more interleague. And it is a very, very demanding schedule for our players. And I think it's something that people have started to talk a little more freely about.
And as far as that goes, let's continue that thought. Scheduling. Bruce Bochy said last week, and we who travel all the time would agree, night game in New York, night game the next day in San Francisco.
Pretty tough.
Is that something that has to be collectively bargained to work out with the networks and the players, or is that something unilaterally you can change?
No, that's something that would have to be bargained with the players. Sunday night games have been an issue for some time. We're talking about a variety of changes that would, have something in it for the networks, but also give some protection on the day following those Sunday night broadcasts to teams that were involved.
This is Freddie Freeman, the Braves' first baseman, who takes one in the dirt. That skips away. And into second goes Cameron MAYBIN, who walked to start the inning. I imagine in your job, at times you probably feel like a dartboard because everybody asks you what's wrong with the game of baseball and what do you need to fix and what do we need to change. You've been on the job now a couple of months. What's right with baseball from the commissioner's perspective?
I was driving home from Baltimore after I got elected, and I had the overwhelming thought I hit the daily double, right? I got elected to what I regard to be the best job in the world. And not only that, but I inherited a really healthy game.
And Freddie Freeman is going to rip one to right. He's going to take second after a bobble by Rusney Castillo, and the Braves are on the board. They've cut the Red Sox lead in half.
And let me talk, just some of the positives that I see in the game. We routinely draw 74 million fans live to our games. We draw another 41 million people to minor league stadiums every year. What that tells me is we have a tremendous in-park experience, and not every sport can say that. People want to come here. They want to come here as families, and it's a great experience for them. Locally, tremendous strength in terms of local broadcasts. We had 11 or 12 markets last year where baseball during the summer months is the #1 rated programming consistently in that market. And 3, really the core of the matter is we have great competitive balance right now. We sell competition. You look at the American League leaders. Just think about it. You got Tampa, Kansas City, and Houston. Right? Who would have thought?
Not me.
Right, exactly.
Who would have thought?
Fly ball deep center. That's going back, and he's going to make the catch on the track. Freddie Freeman's going to tag and move to third. Productive out for Johnny Gomes. Tying run is 90 feet away for Atlanta.
Even on the demographic issues that people talk about with respect to baseball, I think it's important to appreciate the nature of our game and the way that our fans engage with our everyday game. You know, it's one thing to sit down on Sunday afternoon and watch a game, but, you know, as you guys well know, we play every day. And people forget that, you know, 5.7 million fans every day open at bat, and the average age of that fan is 30 years old. Now, they may not be watching a particular broadcast, but they're engaging with the sport, and that's important to remember.
I was going to say, that's got to be critically important. I remember you chatting with us at our Fox Sports seminar talking about the demographic of our sport aging a year every year.
Right.
That's got to be obviously on your and baseball's mind to engage the 6, 7, 8-year-old kids who are the lifeblood of our sport down the road.
Kids are a huge focus for us. Fortunately, I think with young people, the formula is not all that complicated. There's two big determinants of avidity as an adult. Did you play the game as a kid? And how old were you when you went to the ballpark the first time? If we get a kid in the ballpark when he's 7 years old as opposed to 12, he's likely to consume 6 more live games a year, which is a phenomenal number when you think about it. So that's why you see programs like the Red Sox have here, the Calling All Kids programs, our clubs on the local level working really hard to build that next generation of fans.
We were just talking during the break about SunTrust Park, the new ballpark in Atlanta, and I know you were there for the groundbreaking.
Bouncing ball to second. That's going to bring home the tying run. Nick Markakis put it in play, and the Braves manufacture a couple of runs.
Oh, and Wade Miley thought that was the end of the inning. He was headed to the dugout. He didn't know that was just the second out. But the health of baseball in Atlanta is very good, too, with this new stadium coming.
Look, the job that under Liberty's ownership that Terry McGurk and Derek Schiller and their team have done with the Braves is just unbelievable. They've dramatically improved the broadcasting arrangements, the SunTrust development, maybe the most exciting new development in baseball right now, and it's just nothing but good news for baseball in Atlanta.
It's obvious you're a fan of the game. I want to ask you a personal question. Who was your favorite player growing up?
My favorite player growing up was originally Mickey Mantle. I saw him, my first game was in 1968 at Yankee Stadium. I don't have my phone with me. They take it away from me. But I have the clip of the 2 home runs that Mantle hit, one from each side during that game. And it turned out to be the last 2-homer game he ever had.
Really?
You were
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
You were there.
Yes. Yep. That was my first game. After that, you know, Mantle retired, and I became a big Bobby Mercer fan. I was stuck on center field.
2 Okies.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
2 Okies.
There you go.
We're 3 of a kind, those 2 guys and me.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now, you're not serious about this DH in the National League, are you? Come on.
You know, I honestly, me personally,
Yeah.
I am completely comfortable with where we are, American League versus National League. I think it's a source of great debate, and I think it's a debate we ought to foster, to tell you the truth.
No, we play baseball in our league. I don't know what this stuff is in the American League. Mr. Commissioner, it's an honor. Thank you so
really
much for joining
a
us.
pleasure.
Nice to see you in Atlanta.
both.
Rob
Thank you.
Manfred, 10th
Thanks.
Commissioner of Major League Baseball. He helped the Braves tie this game today. 2-2 to score.
2-1 game. He got the ground out from Nick Markakis, and he's going to the dugout. All right, I'm out of the inning. We're still ahead. Way to go. Oh, what? Oh. Yeah, oh, okay. That's on me. Oh, it's 2-2. Dang it.
Left-handed pitchers.
He's a lefty.
So new life for Julio Teheran. He's got the 4, 5, and 6 hitters coming up for the Red Sox as Boston bats in the 4th. First time, I believe, both of us have met Rob Manfred. I know it is for me.
Yep.
Your impressions of him in our brief time together?
Candid. I think that's a compliment, you know. He doesn't shy away from any questions or giving his honest appraisal of some of those questions. Just like he commented on the DH there at the end. He has no problem with the way things are as they are.
Xander Bogaerts the batter. And Teheran gets a bouncing ball left side, gloved by Uribe. Nice play and a strike to first. Whew. Fine play by Uribe to get Bogaerts one away.
Tell you what, the big guy can move. Good crossover step. And then, as we were told and have learned, good accurate throw.
I was encouraged with the commissioner talking about the scheduling issues. I think that's a real sticking point with players. Series like this, the 2-2 home and home, it's not a very popular thing among the players. The late night travel after a Sunday night game, and ultimately the people who suffer the most are the fans, I think, because the players can't possibly operate at peak efficiency when they've been flying all night.
That Sunday night deal is a big deal with the players.
Yeah. And that's no disrespect to ESPN. As this ball's popped towards short, Siriaco drifts back. He's got it. Sandoval's retired, 2 out. But if that game could start at 7 instead of 8:30, like it often does, I think that would go a long way toward at least giving the players a chance to get proper rest. In the case of the Giants, the point we were talking about earlier, he had a night game against New York in New York, flew all the way across country, landed at 4:30 San Francisco time, 7:30 East Coast time, and played that night.
And got shut out.
Right. But it's clear you have to be a fan of the game, but obviously when you carry around Mickey Mantle's home runs on your cell phone, that's like having his bubblegum card in your wallet nowadays.
You know it. Well, another aspect of that scheduling, and as he said, 162 games in 183 days, it might require some realignment. Maybe that's where they had to try to make it more time zone friendly for your travel.
How about scheduling 4 doubleheaders a year?
Again, you're losing gate. And that's the issue.
Day night, split them. As Napoli is the batter, 1-2, out of play, foul. The schedule is relentless. It is unmerciful. As he said, 183 days, 162 games. But that's what they did in the old days. Play Sunday doubleheaders. Monday was an off-day travel day. A lot of the time. Not always, but a lot of the time. Especially with the added rounds of playoffs. And look, we got hundreds of questions from our fans. We just couldn't possibly get to all of them in our brief time with Rob Manfred. Pete Rose comes up. He's discussed that in his past interviews. Instant replay has been discussed a million times. As that one's lined and fair. Uribe dived for it, couldn't get it. Siriaco and Gomes converge as that ball took a funny hop. And Uribe wonders how in the world he couldn't catch that one. It was smoked. And Napoli finally has a hit.
It may have actually hit his glove. Breaking ball that he didn't flinch on, so it came right to the middle of the plate and just out of the reach of one. So Napoli snaps an offer.
Here's De Aza. An offer for Napoli ends at 0 for 18. He's at first and out of play, foul. But one thing he is right about is what's right in our game. Greatest game, great fans, huge interest, attendance records year after year, competitive balance. The globalization of our game, players from Korea and Japan and the Caribbean and Cuba.
Can't cover that all in one inning, can you?
Nope. So if your question was submitted and we couldn't get to it, our apologies, but I'm sure we'll see Mr. Manfred down the road at some point in Atlanta. And we hope to have another chance to chat. 2 balls and a strike for Alejandro De Aza. Up the middle. Siriaco's got it, and he'll win the race to the bag, and that retires the side. Tehran has a shutdown inning in the 4th, 2-2 in the 5th now.
We head to the top of the 5th inning, and we saw a sparkling defensive play by Juan Uribe in the bottom of the previous inning. Really no surprise there as Juan heads to the plate right now. We knew about his glove work. We knew about his accurate arm. But as I talked to opponents in New York, as we take a look at the second pitch, and also I talked to some of the former teammates in Los Angeles, they said it's his outstanding footwork that really makes him an unbelievable infielder. Woo! And Chip, he also gets a great base hit. And as I finish up, as he goes to first base, I talked to Juan. He says when he was 10 years old, he only wanted to be an infielder. And even at this age, and even with a little more weight, he is confident he can play every position in the infield. I asked him earlier today, does that include first base? He says, I played first base in spring training, every infield position if necessary. And of course, guys, he gave us the Juan Uribe smile and laugh at that.
Yeah, it'll win you over, that smile. You're right. He just crushed that base hit.
He's hitting over 300 as a Brave now, and Pedro Siriaco bats and takes strike. Pedro in there because Anderson Simmons was hit on his throwing hand with a pitched ball last night. He stayed in the game, finished up the game for Atlanta, and the Braves wanted to evaluate his right hand overnight to see how it looked today. Fortunately, apparently, there were no fractures. He did have an x-ray taken, but his hand was still very swollen today and wrapped up in the Braves locker room. It's hopeful, Freddie Gonzalez said, that he could play tomorrow night.
I asked him about throwing last night after the game because it was wet, damp, moist, and he said that was a concern the whole game, was grabbing a wet baseball. And he said, I kept trying to aim low all night.
High pop into right. Castillo's got that one out.
But the error in the 9th inning on the hot smash, I think it was Napoli that hit it. He said my finger already was hurting and the ball was a little wet. So I aimed a little too low because I just didn't have as much control on the baseball as I would have liked, and Freddie couldn't handle the throw in the short hop.
Needless to say, the Braves got real lucky on that play.
Yes.
Very easily broken a finger. Here's Lavarnway. Spent 4 years, part of 4 years with the Red Sox, 2011 through 14. And he grounded out to short in the Braves' third. Boston scored 2 in the first. Atlanta answered with 2 in the fourth.
Miley's got a good move. He's already got 3 pickoffs this year. He had 5 last season.
And because of that, he's allowed only 1 stolen base. And a strike. It's 0-1. Braves know they need 3 to win today in Boston at the very least. Miley has not allowed more than 3 in 4 consecutive home games for the Red Sox. And that's upstairs. It's an even count.
Red Sox have a relief pitcher, Craig Breslow, who attended Yale University and was named, I think, by Wall Street Journal as the smartest athlete in any sport a few years ago. Well, Lavarnway also went to Yale. He didn't finish. He signed early out of Southern California, but he attended Yale for 3 years himself.
Yale, known as the Georgia of the Ivy League, in case you wondered.
Yeah, they have Ivy in Georgia.
3 balls and a strike. Jace Peterson waits on deck. Good cut. And foul back for a full count.
It's a big dude, 6'4", 240.
Didn't get it. The changeup has been awfully good for Miley, and that's his 6th strikeout.
Changeup and Butte. Got Uribe with it, swinging and missing in the 2nd inning.
He struck out Peterson twice today. And Uribe is still at first, now with 2 outs. Swing and a miss. Miley struck out the side in the 2nd. Popped up and into the seats. 8 strikeouts is Miley's high this year. That came May 8th in Toronto. His career high is 11.
.93 on that fastball. That's lofty territory for Miley.
No swing. This call went Peterson's way. It's even now, 2-2.
That had everybody creeping to the dugout.
Swing and a miss. 7 strikeouts for Miley. He's got Peterson with 3 of them. And we head to the home 5th, tied up. summer long, like the Georgia Lottery Friday night fireworks. Kids run the bases on Sundays, post-game concerts, bobblehead giveaways, and more. Check out all the summer-long events and ticket deals at Braves.com/summer. After a shaky start for Julio Teheran, he has begun to settle in. He's allowed just 2 hits after the opening inning. And in the 5th, he's got the 8, 9, and 1 batters coming up for Boston. Swihart, Castillo, and Brock Holt will be the batters. Swihart singled back in the Red Sox 2nd.
Swihart comes from a state that doesn't produce a lot of major league players. I'm not sure why, because they certainly have climate for it. They don't have an overabundance of population. That's probably one of the reasons. I'll let you try and figure out which state it is.
Alaska.
That would be a real good guess because they can't play at all. New Mexico.
Really?
And he lives in the Albuquerque metropolitan area. Went to the University of New Mexico and was rated the #1 catcher in the 2011 draft. Got picked in the 1st round and was the highest drafted player out of New Mexico since Shane Andrews. Remember him, 3rd baseman?
I do. Former Cub. Former Expo.
Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And that one caught the inside corner, may have backed up. And Swihart is down on strikes. That's the 2nd Julio Teheran strikeout today.
When you come up to the big leagues, that's where you get tested immediately. And if you can't handle or adjust to that pitch, then you don't last long. If you adjust to it, you show that you can handle it and hit it, then they have to go somewhere else. And that happened with Jace Peterson earlier this year, and he made the adjustments he needed to make.
This is Rusney Castillo, native of Cuba. And he drives one toward right. Long run for Markakis, who slows now and has plenty of room. And that's the 2nd out. And back to the top in Brock Holt. He doubled high off the Green Monster in the 1st inning. Betts followed with an RBI double. And then with Pablo Sandoval up, a double play ball brought home the 2nd and last Boston run. Outside, ball 1.
We were talking about size and how it doesn't matter your stature in baseball. Here's another guy that would probably fit in that category. He's listed at 5'10", but if he's 5'10", I was in The Sound of Music.
Line drive to right. And Brock Holt's aboard as a light rain begins to fall. As we're 20 minutes past the 5 o'clock hour, Chip Caray with Hans von Trapp here at Fenway Park.
He was drafted in the 9th round by the Pirates. But I tell you what, he can swing it.
Yeah, he impressed us last year when we saw the Red Sox.
Out of Rice University.
So here's Betts. Leonard started but then stopped. Betts is lucky that he wasn't seriously hurt on Friday with the Toronto Blue Jays in town. Justin Smoke hit a ball out toward that 420 sign in right center field, and Betts slammed face first into the railing. And it takes a strike.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he was kind of running parallel to that railing. He was pretty much T-boned it.
He was diagnosed with a back sprain that cost him a couple of games. But but has come back with a vengeance against the Braves. He's got 4 hits and 6 tries in this series. He bats here with 2 outs and a 1-1 count. And didn't get it. Strike 2.
Holt 3 for 3 in stolen bases. Betts is 10 for 12. So with the change in the personnel today, John Farrell's got some speedsters at the top.
Down the runner goes. Pitch in the dirt. Barnway's throw to second is in time.
Got away.
Holt thrown out trying to steal second, and that's how the Boston 5th comes to a close. John Farrell might come and question this call at second. We are going to have a replay review, we think. 2-2 your score. Light rain falling in Boston. 2-2 is your score. Here's how the Boston half of the 5th inning ended.
Ball in the dirt even. I didn't see that before. Well, Lavarnway's throw on the fly, on the money, catches, the tag catches Holt as he's coming up and before his foot got to the bag. Larry Vanover rings him up, and the Red Sox don't have a review available. They used one in the first inning and lost.
That was on the Sandoval double play ball. So Ryan Lavarnway, our Toyota key play of the game. Let's see if the Braves can pepper the Green Monster here in the 6th inning. Got the right guys to do it. MAYBIN, Freeman, and Gomes are coming up. Not with that swing. Bouncing ball to short, and MAYBIN is out number 1. Last year, the Boston Globe answered a fan's question. They wanted to know how many dimples are there in the Green Monster. The ball's bouncing off the wall out there. How many would you guess? Any idea?
Oh, 20,000.
Pretty close, actually. For about a 5-year period. They counted 164,630 separate dimples, they call them, in the fence. As that ball's hammered to deep center. And the catch made off the bat of Freddie Freeman, 2 outs.
And that ball had some top spin.
They actually had an infrared camera to measure the hardened plastic surface that is the Green Monster now. But there's a reason they call them dimples. They don't like to call anything dense.
For Bucky?
Exactly right. So they call them dimples, not dents, in the Green Monster here at Fenway Park.
I get it.
That fence was originally built on a 10-foot high embankment to keep non-paying customers outside the ballpark from seeing the game for free. 100+ years ago. And certainly, like the ivy at Wrigley Field, an unmistakable architectural signature of Fenway Park.
He used to sit on the field too. Fans used to be roped off, especially in that area in center field where the triangle is. That triangle went way back into a corner before they finished the center field bleachers.
You talk about a facility that's shoehorned into a city neighborhood.
Yeah, all that area above, like the giant glass area, that wasn't there, so fans could sit on the field.
This park sits on 9 acres. And downstairs to Gomes, a 2-out walk. And that'll bring up Nick Markakis, who tied the game with a ground out back in the 4th.
9 acres?
9.
And we talk about the 13 acres that AT&T Park is built on in San Francisco, and marvel at that with all of its modern amenities. Yeah, like you said last night, they do everything they possibly can to make this park modern, but there are certainly limitations size-wise.
Did you like playing here?
Yeah, as I told you last night, I love playing here. Loved everything about it. And any center fielder worth his salt loves playing center field at Fenway Park because of all that you've got to deal with out there.
1 ball, no strikes. Were the fans talkative out in center field? Could you hear them?
Very.
Yeah.
I had good crowd. I don't know what I did to win them over, but one year I had some fans passing out the words to, they'd copied the words to Oklahoma and they were singing to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's the truth.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
That was when I was with Seattle. The next year I'm with Kansas City and I'm not playing. I'm in the dugout and they're still singing to me. They were calling me Okie Joe, wanting me to meet them at their pub, which I didn't. Wish I had now.
Three balls and a strike for Nick Markakis. Tie game, 6th inning. Braves trying to win both games in Boston this year. Ground ball right side. Holt retreats from the outfield grass. And that's the inning. No runs, no hits, a man left. Bottom of the 6th. Now the big bopper's up for the Bo Sox. 2-2 game. It's brought to you by our friends at Mazda.
Julio Teheran got off to a very rough start. He gave up back-to-back doubles to start the game, walked the next guy, singled to the next guy, but he got a double play and a strikeout to limit the damage to 2 runs. Wade Miley has struck out 7 through 6 innings. He was sharp at the beginning, but the Braves parlayed a walk, a wild pitch, a double, and a ground out into 2 runs of their own in the 4th. Tie game.
Mookie Betts leads off. He's doubled and scored today. And a strike. Julio has scattered 3 singles over his last 4 innings of work. And has been much more efficient. 70 pitches so far for the Braves right-hander. And a high fly left center. MAYBIN on the run, still going, and leaps, can't get it, it's off his glove. Betts around second, he's on his way to third, and he'll stand there with nobody out.
That ball had to be tagged because some other balls have been falling a little short in front of outfielders, like the one Freddie Freeman hit. But this one didn't have that top spin. Cameron gave it great effort, but he thought he was a little closer to the wall than he was, and he jumped maybe a half step too soon, and it goes off his glove, and then he hit the wall pretty hard. And Johnny Gomes doing what he does best, knowing this ballpark, knowing he's got to back this play up, was over there to retrieve it to prevent an inside the park homer.
So David Ortiz is the hitter. Braves have a shift on right side. The infield is in for Atlanta. Tie game 2 apiece. And Ortiz fouled it straight back. And on a recoil of the bat, might have plunked Lavarn way. Strike 1. Ortiz has walked and grounded out. As I told you, he's had a dreadful start with runners at second and third base this year. Just 7 hits this season in 50 tries.
Naturally, if there's not a runner at third base and the shift is on, you guys are playing a lot deeper on the right side. This is almost, I guess you could say they're playing the shift with the infield in, but still not in on the grass. So looking at this, it would appear to me that if the ball's hit to Peterson or Siriaco, they'll come home even though they're not in tight.
Line to second. Ortiz looks skyward and goes unrewarded. 1 out.
That's the frustrating part of a shift, is hitting a ball right into the teeth of it, and Jace caught that ball, but he was getting his head out of the way as he was doing it. That was a bolt.
Xander Bogaerts bats. He singled on an 0-2 pitch in the first inning for Boston. He's also bounced out to third. Now the entire infield comes in at the edge of the grass. No shift for Bogaerts.
Yeah, those 2 days off did wonders for Mookie Betts. Braves can't get him out.
Barnway, as you mentioned, a real big guy. Look at how low he is in his crouch to receive the pitches from Tehran. Bouncing ball. Peterson's got it. Throws off balance to the plate. Short hop throw is dropped, and Boston takes the lead. Now the throw to second is going to be in plenty of time. Bogaerts out, trying to stretch that batted ball into a 2-base play. Betts scores the go-ahead run for Boston. And now there are 2 outs in the inning.
this was going to take an absolutely perfect throw from Jace to get him. And having to cut across behind the mound and then throw all in one fell swoop, hard to do. And it was a short hop throw. And then I don't know what Bogaerts was thinking. I guess he thought Lavarnway would go to sleep on this. And ran into an out. Braves appreciate that.
Now a fly ball by Sandoval. That's hammered over Gomes' head and off the monster. He played the carom perfectly. And Pablo Sandoval with a long single.
How about that play by Johnny Gomes off the wall? I think he's done that a time or two. He caught this on the fly off the wall and then threw a strike to second base.
So Boston back in front. They lead 3-2. Here's Mike Napoli. He has singled and struck out. Over our heads, foul to the right. And an even count. A run on 3 hits for Boston. They scored that play by Bogaerts, an infield hit. I don't know if I agree with that. So no, 9 hits allowed by Julio Teheran. Bogaerts does get the RBI. An inning that began with Betts' deep drive to left center. Maybin couldn't catch it. And the infield chopper brought him home. 3-2 Boston. Pitch is inside. Runner goes, a shot headed for the left field corner. Sandoval around second. He's on his way to third. He'll be stopped. And Mike Napoli has a double. 4 hits in the inning for Boston. And they're at second and third with 2 outs.
4 hits and 3 of them really hit hard. Napoli seems to be coming out of it. Fastball right there. Draw Roger McDowell out of the dugout out to have a visit with Julio. No action in the Braves pen. One run, wouldn't think would be anything to worry about that you've given up this inning, but they're in a position to score a couple more. So this next batter to Aza, important to retire him. And if you don't like him, you got a base open and you got the rookie Swihart on deck.
Let's see how the Braves go after De Aza. Designated for assignment by Baltimore May 27th. The Red Sox traded right-hander Joe Gunkel to the Orioles to acquire De Aza. Takes outside. He had .214 with Baltimore. He's hitting .205 overall. Jackie Bradley Jr. is in the minor leagues at Pawtucket and hitting around .350. Out of play foul. And just under the roof to our left.
The good thing about this situation, if you make good pitches, is that Daza will swing. 39 strikeouts and 125 at bats. You don't have to throw anything down the middle. You can work around the plate and you get him to go after it.
He went after that pitch and splits the gap. 2 runs are going to score for Boston. Daza has doubled home. Sandoval and Napoli, and it's a big inning for Boston. 3 across in the 6th. It's now a 5-2 game.
Fastball, outer third. Too much to the plate, and Daza with a good piece of hitting going the other way. 2 doubles and a triple included in the 5 hits.
And the bullpen begins to work now as Swihart digs in time requested by LaVarnway. It's Dave Guardsman. Julio Teheran's been terrific in Atlanta. The road, though, has been a real rough patch.
And left-handers continue to torment him, too.
They came in hitting .317 against Teheran. And on the road, Julio's 1-2 with an ERA approaching 7. He's given up 5 runs, and he's not out of the 6th today. One ball, 2 strikes. And that ends the inning. Swihart took a call at 3rd strike. 7 Red Sox come to the plate. 3 of them score. They do that on 5 hits. 5-2, Boston the lead. Today, every Braves homer in the game raises $12,000 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org. So Wade Miley staked to a 5-2 lead as we head to the 7th inning. He has struck out 7 men, 1 shy of his season high of 8. Chris Johnson, Juan Uribe, and Pedro Ciriaco are coming up. And that has been a devastating pitch today.
All day long, that outer part of the plate. And right-handers, nobody has stayed back to wait for it or look for it early in the count. And that one bounced 6 feet in front of the plate.
And Chris is out number 1. That's the 8th strikeout of the day. Juan Uribe, the batter, and as he strides into the batter's box, we'll take a look at today's AT&T Universe trivia question. For the last 6 years, which visiting player has 15 or more homers and 30 or more RBIs at Fenway Park?
Wow, that's a lot, isn't it? 6 years.
Well, you've got to think it'd be a team that plays in the AL East. They play here 9 or 10 times a season, right?
Yeah, Evan Longoria.
Mark Teixeira. Shot to left. Off the bat of Juan Uribe. Alex Rodriguez.
That's 2 ropes for 1.
And that'll bring Pedro Ciriaco to the plate. A-Rod did not start for the Yankees yesterday. The Marlins beat the Yankees 2-1. Biggest crowd at Marlins Park since opening day. Saw the Yankees play yesterday. The game was televised in Japan. Ichiro Suzuki faced Masahiro Tanaka for the first time. And A-Rod got a pinch hit appearance in the 9th inning. Got a standing ovation. Of course, he's from Miami. And he will start action today, assuming he's in the lineup. Still 5 hits away from 3,000. Rolled foul. Action in the big leagues today. Giants lead Seattle 3-2 at home in the 7th. Why is that big news? Giants have lost 9 games in a row at home. The last time that's happened, they were the New York Giants and played at the Polo Grounds.
And Mel Ott was playing it.
Yep. That bounced up there. Pedro took it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
What about Jose Bautista? Would he be a candidate?
That'd be a great call. With 2 homers yesterday for Toronto. One-two pitch. And Pedro fought that off. Boston's bullpen is busy. And a good fight put up by Ciriaco here.
One of the things he's done on that breaking ball to right-handers is keep it down so that they couldn't elevate it. Everybody's chasing it, but they can't get any solid wood on it.
Bounced in front of the plate. Braves need base runners and then someone to pop one to tie it up quickly. Atlanta's been held to 4 hits. Miley a season high in pitches. And a slow roller towards Sandoval. He'll charge. He'll throw on the run, and Ciriaco went around the baseball. Infield hit for Pedro. And Lavarnway's coming up with a chance to tie it up. And that's going to be the end of the line for Wade Miley. He threw 111 pitches over 6 1/3 innings. 8 strikeouts, a season high. He's allowed 5 hits and only 2 runs so far. And the big crowd of Fenway Park salutes him.
And they'll be watching, of course, to see if he yells at his manager when he gets in the dugout.
Olympic Stadium in Montreal. A 6 stolen base game against the Expos.
Terry Pendleton, the hitter for just about all of them. Protecting him, making bunt. Otis went in feet first, hands first, and standing up when they just gave up.
And he was an equal opportunity thief. Chris Nabholz, Bill Sampin, Doug Platt, Jeff Facero, and Barry Jones were the Expos pitchers that day.
6 stolen bases. The Braves got beat 7-6.
On our Zaxby's indescribably good play. So Genichi Tozawa is on to pitch for the Red Sox. And it's A.J. Pierzynski coming on to pinch hit. 2 on, 1 out. And A.J. fouled it back. Strike 1.
Tozawa throws hard. Low to mid 90s, but he's got a real good split finger pitch that he throws a lot. That's in the high 80s. Got a breaking ball too. Just 5 walks and 27 innings out of the pen.
First blown save and second loss on Friday against Toronto. He got shelled, gave up 5 runs. And a pop-up shallow center. And a tumbling catch made by Mookie Betts, who had to go to a knee. Tumbling may not be the right word, more like stumbling. May have stubbed his toe.
Yeah, it's like both of his spikes got stuck in the turf. He's calling for it. And almost sat down.
Happiest man in the park that Wade Miley's out of the game is the man in the batter's box. Chase Peterson struck out 3 times. And he pops up the first pitch on the infield. Pablo Sandoval, foul ground in the third base coaching box, puts the squeeze on that. And Tozawa puts out an Atlanta Fire in the 7th. 5-2 Boston. We stretch at Fenway.
Baseball is presented by your Atlanta area Mazda dealers. Driving matters.
Fans, don't forget, only 4 days left to get your tickets to see iconic R&B vocal group Boyz II Men perform after the game this coming Saturday, June 20th, for a free post-game concert presented by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. VIP field and backstage passes are still available. And make sure to get here early to see Young Jock perform before the game. Get your tickets today at Braves.com/concerts. Like Boyz II Men.
Do you have a favorite song?
Hum Baby.
I like it.
No, I do have a favorite song, but I'm talking to Julio.
Oh, I thought that was the title of a song for Boyz II Men.
No, I've got a favorite song, but I'm like, baby, come on, Julio, let's have a good inning.
My favorite's End of the Road, which is where we are on this portion of the schedule. 3 in New York and 2 with the Red Sox. 5-2 Boston. Rusney Castillo is the Boston hitter. A.J. Brzezinski stays in the game. He's behind the plate. As Teheran pitches into the 7th. 9-1 and 2 up for the Bo Sox. And outside, ball 3. This is one of your keys. Finish strong for Julio. His last start, he had the 8, 9, and 1 hitters up with a moderate pitch count. Gave up 2 hits, a walk, and had to leave the game.
And, however, in that game, he had the lead. This one, he does not. Some hard hit balls in the 6th.
Popped up by Castillo, shallow right. Markakis is there, and Nick has it. And that's the first out. Castillo's 0 for 3, and we go back to the top and Brock Holt. Two hits for Brock Holt. And a bid for a third is hit high in the air toward left. That's going to carry over the line. It's a home run. Brock Holt has hit an opposite field homer over the Green Monster.
Oh, man, can he put a charge in the ball when the Braves come to town?
His second home run of the year gives Boston a 6-2 lead.
The 14th allowed by Julio. The 7th by a left-handed hitter.
Mookie Betts drives one out of play to the right side and into the crowd. Betts a couple of extra base hits today. .12 Boston hits. Half of them have gone for extra bases. Count to Mookie Betts now, a ball and 2 strikes. Julio still got a good fastball. That one was at 93 miles an hour. But his ERA has risen over 5. It's at 5.07 now. And he's in jeopardy of losing for the 3rd time. The pitch popped up and no play. It's still 1-2.
Just adding it up here. I think I've got this right. Left-handers today 6 for 15. With 2 doubles and a homer.
That's in keeping with what you were talking about on your 4 keys today.
Yeah, they're wearing them out.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And a single to left. So after the pop out to right, a homer and a single brings up David Ortiz, and it brings out Braves skipper Freddie Gonzalez.
That's 6 hits by Betts. Braves have 2 more games left with the Red Sox. They've got to figure out something different on Holt and Betts.
That's the end of the line for Julio Teheran. He's allowed 6 runs on 13 hits. And Atlanta is in the bullpen in game 2. 6-2 Boston. Back with more in a minute.
Power, Zaxby's, and Ram Trucks, Guts, Lori, Ram.
Time for our game summary today, brought to you by Captain D's.
Now a 62 ball game, but all the damage, really most of the damage has been the 6th and 7th inning here after Julio got off to a rough start, but the Braves had tied it up in the 4th. So the Red Sox trying to snap their losing streak in a big way here.
Which Luis Avilan will we see today? He's on to face David Ortiz, who's 0 for 2. Shift on for the Boston DH. And he swings the first pitch and drives it toward left. Gomes back. That's over his head and high off the monster. And David Ortiz with a very long single. Boston is peppering the wall over the last couple of innings.
Fastball between the knees and the belt. That was not his sinker. That looked like a four-seamer. Pretty flat, whereas the scouts were talking about before the draft, it had a flat plane.
So 1st and 3rd for Boston. Still only 1 out in the 7th. Swing and a miss by Xander Bogaerts. He's got 2 hits. The second one is a joke. It was a tapper to second, and the fielder's choice, Peterson, threw home. No way it would have been a hit, but they gave him one and an RBI. That part he deserved. Pitch popped up out of play into the seats. And the count 0-2. Sharply hit. Uribe fires to second for 1. The turn in time. That ball popped away from Juan, but he stayed with it. Started the around the horn double play, and the Braves are out of the 7th inning. Brock Holt's homer, though, makes it 6-2 Boston.
Sports and outdoors. Right stuff. Low price every day.
Boston 6, Atlanta 2 on a beautiful day for baseball. Braves have some work to do. They've got 6 outs left, and they trail by 4 runs. MAYBIN, Freeman, and Gomes are coming up. And Cameron got buzzed inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Tazawa pitches like so many of his countrymen who come to the U.S. major leagues. They all seem to have that little pause at some point in their windup to get their balance and then bring the pitch home.
And they don't break their hands until they get that leg up there as high as they can get it. And then they break their hands and then they step to the plate.
Right there, a strike. Craig Shipley is the Red Sox scout who signed Junichi Tazawa as an international free agent. And it's outside. Shipley should know a thing or two about international free agency. He was one of the first Australians to play in the major leagues.
Pretty good player.
Tazawa just turned 29 years old. He's from Yokohama, Japan. And the payoff pitch is cut on and missed. 95 miles an hour, and MAYBIN is retired, 1 out. Here's Freddie Freeman, the Braves' first baseman's knocked in a run, and he's part of our T-Mobile game changers, the top of the order for the Braves.
Yeah, these three guys, we talked about them earlier. Chase with a 9-game hitting streak. Cameron's good work over 12 games, and Freddie's goes back even more over the last 2 weeks. Those numbers all updated coming into today.
Freddie, a 6-game hitting streak. And here we are on the 16th of June. Freeman has knocked in 15 runs this month. He's up to 41 now. And is ahead in the count, a ball, no strikes. Tazawa, another veteran of Tommy John surgery, missed the entire 2010 season, coming back from that.
Swihart took a lick there.
He clears the cobwebs and is ready for a 1-2 pitch. Ground ball. Napoli at first. Gets the flip to Tazawa in time. That's the second out. And here's Johnny Gomes. Johnny is 0 for 2. He's walked.
See, that's where the game's changed too, Chip. That ball chopped by Freddie to first base, bounced in the dirt twice. You know it had a scuff on it of some kind, and Tazawa threw it out. He wanted a new baseball.
Ripped out of play, foul, strike one. Yeah, young guys don't know how to pitch with
They don't.
that marked up baseball.
No.
The old days, they could make that ball dance and sing and do the can-can if they wanted to.
The hills are alive.
Yeah. Don't go there. No balls at a strike.
Or it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Nice.
Boys to Men, my favorite.
I was thinking back in the real old days when this ballpark was brand new. As Gomes drives one deep toward left. And that one's off the scoreboard. He hit Washington right on the S with that drive. And he gets a nice round of applause. Yeah, back when this place opened, you know, they'd have the pine tar, they'd have the rosin, the slippery elm, the saliva, the Vaseline, whatever. Scuffed baseballs, those would be just a few of their favorite things. In keeping with your Von Trapp theme.
Mm-hmm.
Long single for Gomes, his first of the day. And here's Nick Markakis.
I wasn't expecting that. He was trying so hard to get back to the bag, he almost fell over it.
Liner foul.
I guess here in Wrigley, the only stadiums left that still have pillars in the aisles, right?
I think so, yeah.
Posts holding up the upper deck.
Obstructed view areas. Not many fans are sitting there now, but come playoff time, every seat's taken at Wrigley and Fenway Park. In fact, if you look closely, you can see those vacant seats behind the pillars.
I don't think people here even notice anymore.
Might be right.
They're just used to it.
When you think about new Yankee Stadium and the major design flaw they have in the outfield, pillars aren't a big problem. They built $1 billion stadium. They hide Monument Park underneath a club in center field, and if you're sitting in left center field and a ball's hit to right, you can't see the field of play. You have to pick up a TV monitor on the side of the wall to see what happened.
So you're not a fan?
No. Okay. I mean, how can you hide Monument Park, for crying out loud?
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Now back to the game. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. Tozawa has his second strikeout, and the Braves are done in the 8th inning. Boston has a commanding lead, 6-2 in Game 2 of this series. The fans serenading each other with, hear it? Sweet Carolina tradition here at Fenway Park. Fans follow the Braves all year long with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment, at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, statcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or your tablet.
Sugar Ray Marimon makes his first outing since coming back from Gwinnett. He was in 4 games earlier this year, 7 1/3 innings, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts.
Braves like his arm. Chance to get some big league experience in one of our sport's great ballparks. And against some tough hitters, Sandoval starts it off and fouled it straight back. The Panda has a 7-game hitting streak now. He scored a 6th inning run. Boston got 2 in the first, 3 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. And that one stroked into right center field, a base hit. MAYBIN cut it off. He loads up. The throw towards second is off target, and Pablo Sandoval has a 2-hit game.
Well, it should be 2 doubles were it not for the real good play by Johnny Gomes off the wall his last time up that limited him to a single. He's kind of fallen away from the plate and still raked that ball. Tell you what, he would probably be better served to keep those pant legs down to his shoe tops, because it seems like it compresses all of him into, like, from the knees up. It's like it's really packed in there.
Might be Babe Ruth's old uniform. You never know. Pablo Sandoval.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Or at least the pattern. 1 ball, no strikes. From Sugar Ray Marimon. Mike Napoli, the batter. Napoli was 0 for 18 until a 4th inning single. He doubled last time up. So he's coming around for Boston. Red Sox try to snap a 7-game losing streak today. Mile high fly ball to center. And no advance. And the throw way up the line, but Uribe sniffed that out. 1 out in the Boston 8th.
I don't know which was higher, the pop fly or the throw to third. Cameron had cut that loose. Looked like it came out of his hand sideways.
Paul Bird tells us if you take your thumb off the baseball, bad things happen.
Yeah, it's hard. It's real hard.
But no damage done. Here's Alejandro De Aza. He has a big hit in the game, a 2-run double. Challenge for Boston after this game. 12 of their next 15 games are on the road, and they have not been a good road team. Red Sox are 12 and 20 away from Fenway Park. Fly ball, shallow right. Markakis on a full-out sprint, still coming. Tries to get there, can't. It bounces past him and into the corner. Sandoval around third is going to get waved. And all the way around to third is De Aza. Interesting decision here. Hit all the way?
I would say so, yes.
You know, Markakis has that long errorless streak still working.
He had too far to go. And the other thing is De Aza, look at him coming out of the box. He recognized right away that that might drop. And to his credit, hustling instead of maybe getting a double, he winds up with a triple.
And his 3rd RBI of the day. He had 8 all year coming into today's action. Infield in now for Blake Swihart. Popped up. Long run, Uribe and Ciriaco near the stands, and no play. The stretch for the Red Sox on the road at Atlanta, at Kansas City. They have 3 games at home with Baltimore. They then go to Tampa Bay and then to Toronto. That is not an easy stretch. Play the Braves in Atlanta, most of the American League All-Star team, and they've got to tame a red-hot Toronto club. Time call. Swing and a miss. Good pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Back to the mound. Sugar Ray, a nice play. And he gets Swihart at first for the second out. And here's Rusney Castillo. Something else they do so beautifully in this ballpark is with all the modern message boards and the like. The video scoreboard in left center or above center field mimics the manual scoreboard in left with the digital signage.
Yeah, it looks like a manual message board.
Slow roller, that's tough play. And it's going to go foul, and Uribe got there just in case it was going to hit the bag. So back to the plate comes Castillo, who's 0 for 3. Bouncer deep short. Ciriaco from the outfield grass. Loads up. High throw. Infield hit. Another run is in. Sixth RBI for Castillo. That makes it an 8-2 Boston game.
Tough play for Ciriaco. Out on the grass. Foot slipped a little bit too. So Freddie made sure that he hauled it in.
There's a strike to Brock Holt. He's been a pest today. Needs a triple to hit for the cycle. He homered last time up. Fly ball, right center field. That's deep. MAYBIN on the run. Won't get there. Holt around second. He's on his way to third. He's going to have a cycle for the Sox.
As I've said before, there's got to be some different way to pitch this guy, doesn't there? Because he's hit everything on the button, and what a day for him. I want the baseball.
Brock Holt has hit for the cycle today.
Wasn't much doubt off the bat either, was it?
No.
Fastball. I've seen him hit that today.
The last Red Sox to hit for the cycle was John Valentin. June 6th, 96 against the White Sox. And Boston has scored the last 7 runs in the game. They lead 9-2. And outside for Mookie Betts. He needs a home run to hit for the cycle. And with that fence in left.
Wouldn't that be something?
Popped him up. And MAYBIN in straightaway center is going to make the catch. Big day for the Boston Red Sox. The top of their order, Holt and Betts, have done serious damage. Brock Holt hits for the cycle, and Boston has a 7-run lead. In place of Dustin Pedroia at the top of the order. He's hit for the cycle. Runners, the Braves Country 5K is right around the corner this Saturday, June 20th. Packages include race registration, a ticket to the June 20th game against the Mets, and a commemorative t-shirt. Don't forget to stay after the game for the free post-game concert with Boys to Men. Ready, set, go to Braves.com/Braves Country 5K and register now. Brock Holt earns our great clip of the game. You get fastballs down the middle, belt high, you're going to hit them hard someplace, and that's what Holt has done all day today. First Boston player to hit for the cycle since John Valentin did it back in 1996. And the big crowd at Fenway Park gives Brock Holt a standing ovation. And justifiably so. Chris Johnson leads off the Atlanta ninth. He'll face Koji Uehara. He's the Boston closer. Red Sox haven't had many closing options for Uehara, so they'll try to tune up in a 9-2 game. He's pitched twice in the last 8 days. And Chris Johnson fouls it straight back. Chris 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Those came against Wade Miley.
He doesn't take an 0 for 2 often against lefties.
And that one off the end of the bat. Holt called off Napoli, and Uehara got to the bag. Nice communication, nice play. And there's out number 1 in the ninth. We didn't forget about our AT&T Universe trivia question, so let's revisit that here in the ninth inning. Over the last 6 years, which visiting player has 15 or better homers and 30 or more RBIs in Boston?
I'm going to go with Bautista.
Bautista. I'll go another right-hand hitter and say Alex Rodriguez. Let's see if we're right. And it is Bautista. Oh boy. Good road trip in trivia. And the Braves will hope Bautista has a good day today in New York later on. He'll have a tough time. Matt Harvey's pitching for the New York Mets. However, as that one's hammered down the left field line and fair by Uribe. Juan's got a 3-hit game. And he's on his way to second base with a sliding double. Matt Harvey has given up 8 homers in his last 25 innings for the Mets. So keep an eye on that as we make our way back to Atlanta tonight.
Tell you what, Juan Uribe is raking right now. Last game in New York, he had 3 hits and an RBI. Last night, 2 hits and a run scored. Today, 3 hits, including a double.
So he's got it going as Pedro Ciriaco bats. Pedro an infield hit back in the 7th. And he drives one toward the gap in right center field. Castillo on the run. That's over his head, and that's in the Boston bullpen. That's a ground rule double for Ciriaco, and the Braves have back-to-back hits and their 3rd run. It's 9-3 now.
Pitch was away, mostly the middle of the plate. Squared it up, and as we've seen him do so many times before, Ciriaco hits the ball on the barrel. 2 hits for him today.
Pretty impressive considering how little playing time he's been able to get for the Braves. And now AJ drives one to right. Castillo broke it and misplayed that. That's over his head. Ciriaco's going to score, and Pierzynski's at second base.
I thought he had turned into one of the Yankee monuments. I wondered what he was looking at because he never moved. It was kind of one of the things that we've heard so much about this bad streak the Red Sox have been on, about some bad defense, and he was coming in. Well, it's too bad they put 7 runs on the board in the last 3 innings.
But it's a 9-4 game and only 1 out. Now we're back at the top of the order, and Jace Peterson. Peterson, MAYBIN, and Freeman have been 3 of the hottest Braves hitters. We've said it a million times. No lead is safe in this ballpark. And sometimes closers in a non-save situation aren't very crisp. Fly ball hammered center. Betts on the run, on the warning track, near the fence, makes the grab. Peterson hit it a mile, but to the deepest part of the ballpark. 2 out.
Tell you what, for a guy that was playing second base in AA this time last year, he's doing a good job of adjusting to playing center field in this ballpark. However, on Friday, here's the collision in right center. He's first into that railing. He actually stayed in the game momentarily, and then they took him out to be examined.
Nothing wrong with his back. I mean, nothing wrong with his neck, I should say, but it was his back that took the punishment. It was a back sprain. They can go get him in the outfield. Terrific athlete. Here's MAYBIN, final hope in the Atlanta 9th. And Cameron didn't get that. 1 ball, 1 strike. Little roller. Sandoval charges, gloves, throw to first, safe. Braves are still alive. Pierzynski at third. They're at the corners for Freddie Freeman.
fan was somewhat upset. Cameron did leg it out. High fastball rolled over the top of it. Cameron's still not running 100%.
Clearly safe. And now a shift on for Freeman. It's Sandoval that will make the long trek across the diamond and play up the middle as the Boston third baseman. Freeman 1 for 4 with an RBI. Let's see if he can do some damage. Maybin's running and Freeman skies it foul. Strike one. $35,662 the official attendance at Fenway Park today. Nothing in two. Now the Red Sox fans rise. Atlanta down to its final strike. And that pops away. Maybin in at second base. And they're at second and third. Johnny Gomes waits on deck. You know he'd love a chance to hit in the ninth.
If I'm Freddie, I don't want to see A.J. Pierzynski halfway to third base when I'm behind in the count 0-2 or 1-2. I mean, he may draw a balk, but if you're going to do that, do it early. Not when out of the corner of my eye I can see you running at me.
Swing and a miss. And that's your ball game. The long Boston nightmare is over. They snapped their 7-game losing streak. And the Boston Red Sox have evened up the series 9-4. Brock Holt has hit for the cycle in place of Dustin Pedroia, who got the day off for John Farrell's Boston Red Sox. Series even at 1-1. We'll head back to Atlanta and see what happens. And we'll recap it after this.